Grow a Garden, one of the biggest games to release in the past year on Roblox. At one point, it even was the most popular game in the entire world. But not even a year later, and now Grow a Garden is mostly known for its fall-off. In just the last 3 months, the game went from getting well over 100,000 players to now in some cases going below 30,000. And recently, a direct competitor for Grow a Garden released called Garden Horizons. This game easily got into the front page and has many more players than Grow a Garden. And with that, seeing the current state of Grow a Garden, could this actually be the end of this game? So, what happened with Grow a Garden? How did it go from averaging over 2 million players to less than 30,000 in such a short amount of time? It's simple, the game's content. Updates haven't been the best, especially some of the latest ones. While a few months ago people were quitting since the game was getting repetitive and therefore less interesting to play, today the updates are just super lazy. Here's the grand example of a weekly update they made called Feed a Pet. In a week, they managed to add a little podium with random eggs that spawn in it, which hatch into pets, but all of the pets and eggs already existed before, so there wasn't actually anything new. The next update was a little better, because here they did add something new to the game. But anyway, the game's name is Grow a Garden, so after 2 weeks, they finally decided to make an update with new plants. And even then, the update was centered around a plant that had already existed in the game for months. You just grow thousands of it every day and then buy crates. The updates became so bad to the point where people would prefer them re-adding old events. Things became so bad that the game was even getting more dislikes than likes in some cases. What about the current updates, though? The Valentine event required you to just get certain mutations, and you also had to earn a ton of shekels, so the 2 trillion I have is worth nothing in this case. It is definitely better than whatever Feed a Pet was, for example, but there is just too little content for people to really enjoy. Grow a Garden is basically at its lowest point right now, with more people quitting, and with some of the worst updates this game have had. And while the game is at its lowest point, its biggest competitor have just released Garden Horizons. This game got its first trailer about a month ago, to which even Creekcraft reacted. A bit later, a different trailer came out, which also got a lot of views. So with that, the game had a lot of hype around it, and once it came out, it instantly got into the front page. Right now, it gets over 200,000 players every day, outperforming Grow a Garden by a lot. The game takes many ideas from Grow a Garden. You buy seeds, grow plants, sell crops, and repeat to become rich. You can also buy gear to do even better. The game has weather and mutations, as well as different-sized plants and crops. What is actually very much different from Grow a Garden is the quality of the game. The plants look better. The map has actual environment instead of a flat base plate. The UI looks really nice, and overall things are just made smoother. In terms of pay to win, at least right now, everything that can be bought with Robux can also be obtained without Robux. The game has seed packs, but if you complete quests, you get them for free. I actually managed to get a legendary seed without spending any Robux at all. The game's basically like an upgraded early Grow a Garden, hence why many call it Grow a Garden 2. As of when this video is made, it has not received any updates, but it does seem like they want to have some lore in the game too. So if the game is basically like Grow a Garden, why is it so popular? It's simple. Grow a Garden was a very huge game, to the point where it made the entire Roblox platform more popular. But since it was getting worse, and some people were quitting due to bad updates, Garden Horizons basically became a replacement for them. A game they can enjoy once again with very similar mechanics and gameplay. If Grow a Garden wouldn't have had this big of a fall-off, we most likely wouldn't be seeing Garden Horizons being even close to this popular. So going back to Grow a Garden, besides having troubles with updates, they also have been adding more monetization. Let's take Valentine's update. Remember the part where you had to get plants with certain mutations to get rewards? Well, you can just fully skip the entire thing with Robux. Or going back to the Feed a Pet and Bird Nest updates, remember how I said they did not add any new plants? Well, there weren't any plants on the surface. The wiki actually shows that both of them got new plants. The twist here is that they were all locked behind merch. And seeing the amount of stuff you get from merch, I mean, they really did put more effort into merch stuff than any of the latest updates. And speaking of updates, a new one came out called Alien Invasion. So it's a new event where you got a weather event spawn once every hour, with a chance to give your pets alienated mutation, and then you bring them to this guy, and for 10 pets, you get UFO Pet Shard, although you can skip the entire event with Robux. There's also a new plant, but apparently the fruit model is just a copy-paste with different colors. I feel like this update really shows why people are quitting this game. But recently there has been some news that apparently a sequel to Grow a Garden is being made, and to confirm that, the official Grow a Garden Twitter account posted 2 clips which show a bit of how the game looks. Some things have moved around and stuff, but in general, it honestly barely looks different from the original. Probably the most noticeable difference is stealing being more of a main thing now, it seems. They did make a change to stealing in Grow a Garden too, and many were not a fan of that change. But in general, the sequel seemed to barely look different, despite the original making many millions of dollars. And I mean, I think it's pretty obvious the team behind Grow a Garden doesn't care about their players. That is a part of a reason as to why Garden Horizons is very popular right now. They actually seem to care about both the game and the players. Jandel, who's known for buying different games, might have actually tried to do the same with Garden Horizons, but it seems they do not want to sell the game to anyone. And it's honestly a good thing if they keep the game to themselves. Do Big Studios, who's also taking a part in developing Grow a Garden 2, has shown what can happen to games, like Fish or Blade Ball, for example. So the entire reason Grow a Garden fell off like this is greed. Pretty bad updates, at least the latest ones have been pretty bad, and ignoring the players and what people want to actually see. Many who still play Grow a Garden are actual fans who want better for the game, but the developers just simply do not care. Instead of trying to improve Grow a Garden, they are making a sequel. And some do question as to what's the point, since everyone will lose their progress and Grow a Garden 2 would basically be the same game with slight changes. So I think it's fair to say that Grow a Garden is almost done, at least because all the attention will be moved to a sequel once it releases, and there will be no point for them to update Grow a Garden anymore. Anyway, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I plan to make Q&A video once we hit 25,000 subscribers, so I would appreciate that. You can watch one of these videos while waiting for a new one. They are good too. Join my Discord server with the link in description, and I will see you soon.